What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Nate the Effing Great. I represent the Game Changer here at Starrcast. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here alone. For the first time ever, 3 years in the making, it's finally happened. I'm here by the lovely and California zone, SoCal Val.
You know, you mentioned Game Changer. This little podcast we're doing here is quite the game changer because we're live and we're actually in person hanging out. Finally.
It's, like I said, 3 years in the making. The fact that it took this long for us to meet is insane, but at the same time, I think it was worth the wait. It's
everything I hoped it would be. Everything I dreamed it would be.
Oh, well, aren't you
sweet? I'm having wine?
Well, that just only hurts me a little bit. But then again, doesn't hurt as much as probably I was mean to Allie just a little bit earlier.
Well, you've got a tequila shot coming, so don't worry.
Oh, sweet. Can't wait for that.
Wait, you were mean to someone?
No, so basically, one of the first people that I did the meet and greets with was Allie and Rosemary, and I made the comment that I preferred Rosemary over Allie, and basically Allie...
Why would you say that?
Oh, boy. No, that started a whole new ball game for me. Literally, Allie just has this look on her face, her arms are on her hips, and she just says to me, you know, you could be saying that we're both your favorite, and I'm just like, well... And then, of course, we got the Rosemary of Decay, not the Rosemary of the Demon Bunnies, so,
yes.
Where she, literally, she's just whispering little things in my ear, saying like, "Oh, we don't care how she feels" or stuff like that. I'm like, "Oh, boy, she is intense," but that's one of the reasons why I grew to love her as a wrestler. So that was really awesome, and getting a chance to meet so many other people, especially those that I've gotten the chance to talk to over. Podcast. Rant with Ant was here earlier, so they're kind of roaming around. They actually do their podcast in New York,
okay.
So they got called here by a Starrcast to just come here, talk a little bit about the show, everything like that, and they're just as awesome as I imagined that. Phil is great. Anthony, shout out to Rant with Ant because they're absolutely amazing. And then, of course, before we even got started with the show, I had to give you a hard time because I was thinking, oh, hey, there's SoCal Val, but you were just focused, I think, on something else. Your mind was...
Where did you say that I keep getting lost to go to the green room and the different stages, and I think I have my way around in terms of a sense of direction, and I just don't.
Literally, it was that corner where they have those classic games for the classic wrestling games.
I'm not even seeing classic wrestling games.
Yeah,
am I that self-absorbed, or am I just that damn busy around here? I think it might be both.
Yeah, I think it might be both. So I made the comment where it's like that moment when SoCal Val just completely ignores you, and I just had the face of like, what?
Maybe that was your forewarning punishment.
Probably.
Maybe.
Probably. For a lot of people that know, we've been doing punishments for a long time, and I've been on the short end of the stick, but...
Which is weird because you're so good at the predictions. You know what I mean? You are. Like, a lot of times what your prediction is what I think is going to happen, but I just kind of choose the ones that I like, if I'm honest. You're more of the expert on that. I just pick who I like.
Well, I do what I can.
He's cuter. I like him. Just being honest. Like, if I'm going to pick Bobby Roode over, like, Elias, get the hell out of here.
Dude, Bobby Roode's always going to be my dude all the way. I mean, there's a reason why I had him as one of my top 2 wins for Money in the Bank. And then, of course, we get Braun Strowman, so why, I don't know.
You do not like Braun Strowman?
No, I do. It's just, this was one of those booking decisions where it's like, what is going on? Why? He doesn't need it.
I don't like that. I love him to death. What is with the hands thing? That's so weird. I hate that. I think the next time I see him, I'll be like, I don't like that. That's how you know you're cool with someone. I'd be like, hey, can I talk to you? I think it's really dumb. Let's have another shot.
Oh, come on. You can't say that you can't honestly picture your hubby just coming in, everything's all romantic and nice, and he just pops into the doors and just say, come on, get these hands.
No. First of all, his American accent is not that good. He makes everything sound like he's a cowboy. It makes me sound like I'm a cowgirl. I'm not, I think his gimmick has been fine. What I've seen, he's doing great. But the whole hands thing, I think it's a little silly.
Well, there are sillier things that have happened in wrestling, and you would definitely know that working for TNA.
Yes, because we just actually did the Total Nonstop Jarrett panel, which is available as replays on Fight TV. By the way, guys, really quick plug, you can get all of the Starrcast week for $99, or you can get Thursday or Sunday shows for $19.99, or Friday and Saturday shows for $39.99. You knew I was going to do a plug here for Fight TV.
Still better than Stephanie.
Well, thank you. Well, Total Nonstop Jarrett was just on, and we had Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, Don West hosting hosting, who's amazing. Dave Penzer hosting with me as well. Velvet Sky, Gail Kim, Karen Jarrett. It was really all the most influential people in TNA, and it was such a great walk down memory lane. I mean, we talked about the Knockouts division, and we heard so many great stories about how, you know, the TV deals came about. It's such an in-depth conversation about TNA. If you were a fan ever, or if you're still a fan, hopefully, which I hope you are, it's really, if you're going to watch anything on Starrcast, I'm sorry to pick favorites, but between that and the Medusa Unthrottled panel, those have been my favorites so far. Botchamania was actually pretty funny, too. I thought that was going to be a little offensive, but it was actually really funny.
We actually had a Botchamania moment earlier where a guy actually fell off the stage while doing it. Was earlier, I forget who it was, but it featured James Storm, and James Storm will tell you this, that they were doing, I think, trivia on, you know, what championships certain wrestlers have won. Yeah, the guys were just doing the podcast, and next thing you know, I just hear a chair falling down. Guy totally was fine, but
it wasn't Storm. Oh man, that would have been so much funnier.
No, Storm was fine, but he was probably on the floor laughing so hard.
Okay.
All he heard was like a thump, 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 and I look over, chairs on the ground, guys off the stage. I'm like, oh, well, that could have ended so much worse. But
that was the first Starrcast Botchamania moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, trust me, they referenced that right away. It's like,
I'm mad that I missed that. Oh.
Well, you got other busy stuff. You're working with Fight Network.
I know. I just keep going back and forth, so I'm going to miss quite a lot. Like, I keep doing the intros and the outros to the panels, but during the panels is when I have to go to another stage. So it's all a bit crazy.
Just a little bit. But so far, what's been your favorite thing about Starrcast other than the the TNA throwback panels that you did?
I loved that. I loved the Medusa podcast, especially because I was honored that she asked me personally before I was even down here in Chicago / Schaumburg. Chicago just sounds a little better, doesn't it, than Schaumburg? I thought that was really nice that she asked me to be a part of the panel of hers. I mean, as a girl in wrestling who's not even a wrestler, it was just really a nostalgic, really cool fangirl moment when she said, I'd love for Val to do it. She actually asked Fight to have me personally there. I thought that was really nice. Her panel was hilarious. She had Lisa Marie Varon, Victoria Terra, that's all of her name. ODB was there. Actually, Summer, Danielle Monet was there as well. I hope I said her name correctly. That was a great female wrestling moment. Other than that, I mean, just my favorite moments have been just seeing like all the fans here. Like I saw Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks walk the lobby for the first time, and it was just like absolute, not pandemonium, fandemonium. And it was just like you had seen like the Rolling Stones. People were just all over the place, excited. Just the level of excitement really was cool to see. Yeah.
I mean, I've been to a couple of comic conventions, and so far they've got nothing on Starrcast, and it's going to have nothing on All In going on tomorrow. It has been what a lot of people call it. It's one of the biggest events in independent wrestling, but it could also be one of the biggest events in wrestling, period.
No, ever.
Because it is so jam-packed, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the matches that are on there, and getting a chance to talk about some of the championships that are on the line, some of the great things that you never thought that you would see. And there's a reason, guys, why it only took about 29 minutes for this show to sell out. The card wasn't even announced. They didn't make any.
Amazing.
They didn't even mention like who was going to make an appearance. It's just absolute fandemonium right here. So I do apologize if our audio is just a little bit. Yes, we'll
because we always have a hashtag, and they're always so funny. But I keep saying it's pandemonium really quickly. Sorry to interrupt you. When I went to the mall yesterday, as you do, it really wasn't that big of a. The lobby was pretty quiet. When I got in, it was really a ghost town. I thought this is weird because it's a really big open lobby. And then when I went to the mall yesterday, I was gone for like an hour and a half. I bought a lot of stuff. Anyway, when I came back, it was like wall-to-wall Bullet Club shirts and the Elite shirts and Villain Club shirts. It was just fandemonium, as we say. So that should be our hashtag.
Hashtag fandemonium. That will also be the title of this episode. I think that's the best way of calling it.
It's a good show name, actually.
Anytime you're on the show, we'll just have fandemonium on here. Yeah, like I said, it's just amazing talking to some of these people. There's some of the wrestlers that I've definitely grown to appreciate a lot more because they'll actually get the chance to sit down and either talk to you or compliment you on either like, oh, you do a nice shirt. I know that meeting Jay Lethal is one of oh my gosh, he is
Isn't he awful? Just kidding.
I'm going to tag him in this, and I'm hoping he hears this.
I love him so much.
Or, I mean, you might as well go tell him that he's downstairs. You might as well just go tell him yourself.
I have not seen him all week. Actually, it's funny. I see him more in the damn UK than I do here. I saw him at the ROH UK tour. It was funny because we had a meet and greet every single day, and they kept putting me with different people, like Flip Gordon. Jay's like, no. We're hanging out together. We had a great time at the meet and greets, just catching up. telling horrible jokes. So he's obviously one of my favorite people in the whole world. But I haven't seen him all week, so I'm jealous. How did the meet and greet go? What happened?
Basically, I just went up to him and I just started doing the whole, oh yeah, macho man, my best macho man Randy Savage. And he did it for a little bit, but then after a while, I think he just broke down laughing so hard.
Yeah.
And he just... I remember after the picture taken with him, he just said, "Thank you so much. You made this weekend a lot of fun." It's like, it was awesome.
He's one of the best, like, purest, nicest, most humble, professional guys you'll ever meet in wrestling, honestly. And I put him in a category of, like, top 3 people ever. I put AJ in that category as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Right now, that's going to be, like, I think my next goal is to meet AJ Styles. Hopefully.
So great.
Well, he's also got that great set of hair. I mean, come on.
I know, I'm a little jealous. He's always had good hair, but then when he grew it out, it was like, wow, he's so conditioned, and yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. And just meeting all the other people, and even some people that I never thought, okay, this might actually be kind of cool. There was actually one person who, Bullet Babe. She is doing, like, this show in...
Where has she been?
Well, she's downstairs as well.
Here in Starrcast, is she, like, around here signing?
She's downstairs. She's downstairs with a lot of the other wrestlers. But she, I remember she and I got into a conversation about Marvel Comics and DC, and talking about how pretty good the Aquaman trailer looks. And afterwards, she said, "Okay, you and I needed to do a review for Aquaman." I'm like, "Well, funny you mention that. I have a podcast, so." It's one of those things where it's like, well...
I told you, movie reviews are the way to go because you love Marvel and you love all of those kind of cinematic masterpieces. And with Marvel and DC, I actually prefer Marvel, as you know, but, like, they're such well-produced movies and they're always so well-written that it's going to be a good show or a good movie no matter what happens. Like, I don't really know much about Aquaman. I saw some of the Justice League movie, and Aquaman I'm not as familiar with in terms of the superhero history, but it's got to be good. I mean, it's DC.
He was definitely one of the highlights of Justice League. And, well, of course, there's Wonder Woman, Flash. He was born with a comedic effect, but he still was a pretty good hero. I mean, he was not one of those ones where I'm thinking, oh, this guy is so boring. He's one of those ones I'll remember, and I'll think, not too important to the story, but still good enough to where, you don't have to say,
he
like,
has a place there. I think, I agree.
So, definitely... we'll be talking to people, and we'll definitely be doing, like, a year-end evaluation of what our favorite movies will be.
Of course. And, there's so many that I haven't even seen yet. I tried to watch... I seem to watch a lot of movies on the plane because a lot of times I'm just kind of busy to go to the movies, which is unfortunate because I love going to the movies. But Black Panther, Avengers, Infinity War, and there's one more. I never saw Jurassic World. I'm so mad I never saw it. But the other 2 I was mentioning, I saw them on a plane, and the kids and stuff were so loud on the plane that I had to stop both of them. I couldn't hear most of it. So you need to pay attention to those kind of movies. You don't need to be listening half-assed. So.
Hashtag shut your kids up while on the plane.
Yeah, please. I'm also usually going to Orlando where, like, it's all kids, and I'm like, oh, dear. They were running through like it was Mardi Gras with, like, toilet paper, like, streamers. It was weird.
Well, they're also excited to go to Orlando where they have Disney World and Universal Studios.
My ass, though. I wouldn't act like that on the plane. Oh, my God, no. She would have whooped my butt.
Well, you and I, we were raised old school where, basically if we were out of line, we were basically taught to, respect elders, everything like that. We were out of line. We got basically a bigger ass whooping than Vince McMahon did from Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Good point. Nice reference.
But, yeah, there's actually been some pretty good movies. I think every now and then there's some where it's just like, wow, this is a complete waste. Like, the one movie that I definitely did not like that came out was the new Slender Man movie that came out. And
I didn't see that.
That's a train wreck and a dumpster fire. And basically anything that you can name a bad movie, it's literally what it is. So many people could say,
what was wrong with it? Like, storyline?
The story was all over the place. Didn't really... kind of, capitalize on the popularity that Slenderman had back in, like, mid-2000s, something like that.
Yeah.
Characters were not likable, which always hurts. I think that's only the second time I've watched the movie, and I thought, I really do not care about these characters. If they die, well, oh well. And I hate being that mean person, but it's one of those things where it's just like, do not care for their stories.
Well, it's kind of like wrestling, right? Like if you don't feel invested in the characters, you're not going to keep watching. And a movie, is over in 2 hours. But with wrestling, it's the same kind of thing. They're all kind of actors in a way, in the sense that if you're not a good character, if you were not captivated or compelled to watch more, then it's a big fail, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But like we said, we're at All In, and there's no way that there is going to be a fail with a lot of this. So let's just go right into some of the matches on the card.
Do you have all the matches ready? I know about 80%.
I think I know just as much as you do, but I'm going to try to remember as much as I can.
Okay.
So we'll start with the pre-show. We had the Over the Budget Battle Royal, 15-man Battle Royal, and the winner goes on to face off against Jay Lethal for the ROH World Heavyweight Championship. This is actually going to be a pretty good and pretty interesting matchup, considering some of the names that they have on there, like Brian Cage, Flip Gordon, Moose is going to be involved. So many of these great athletes that you definitely see throughout the world are basically all being put into this. But I also ran into Billy Gunn, who, God help me, I realize now why his name is Mr. Ass. So
of course. Isn't he huge? He's such a big, imposing guy. Like, he's so nice, but he's ginormous.
He basically gave me my phone back when I was trying to get a picture with Chelsea Green. I basically gave it to the one guy. He just grabbed it from him, and he just gave it back. He's like, no.
Yeah, sounds like him. I was so busy today, like running through the autograph area, and I was just like, hi everybody, I'll come say hi later, I'm sorry, so busy. And I heard him yell, Val, you get over here, how dare you? And I was like, oh dear God, he's a little frightening. No, I love Billy Gunn, but the cool thing about the Over the Budget Battle Royal is that they kept adding people up until, like, my God, like not yesterday, but like really, recently. And they've got a really cool marriage of all these different types of wrestlers, like Billy Gunn, kind of a legend, nostalgic kind of a person. They've also people from, like, I associate Moose with Impact Wrestling. That's a nice little kind of crossover. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I hope there's some more surprise entrants, but obviously I'm going to hope that whoever Jay Lethal faces is someone that's far less superior, because I love Jay Lethal.
Well, I mean, you almost married him on Impact, so I mean that shows how much.
I forget what happened there. I don't know. It was a bit of a blur.
That's the funny thing, because there's a major part of me that knows that there's at least, I think, 4 unconfirmed entrants, and there's that little part of me that's like,
is it 4?
At least 4 right now.
Okay. Oh, I love that. I love the mystery. Like, that's why I love the Royal Rumble so much, because it's unexpected. Who's going to come out? Yeah.
But as far as like who they could possibly be, I know people have definitely ruled Neville, since he's not exactly yes please, basically where he's possibly just going to be involved, because he's not involved with WWE anymore. But odds are that might not be the case. Who knows? Some other people that could indeed be involved. Personally, I would love to see this, because of the fact that it'd be absolutely amazing. Yeah. I kind of would like Sanjay Dutt to be involved.
Oh my God. It's one of those things that it's a good possibility, but again, we're talking about crossover, so obviously Sanjay is very Impact Wrestling related. This is sort of an ROH-centric thing with the winner going on to face Jay Lethal for the ROH World Championship. What was cool to me is to do the ROH UK tour. For me, like, as a wrestling fan, I always loved ROH. I never really got to work for ROH. I was always an Impact girl. Did a couple little very small things for WWE. Was always kind of, mainly an Impact girl. Now I'm a WS girl, proud and true. But that's, UK based. So getting to work the Ring of Honor shows in the UK, honestly, was a really big honor. I know that's a pun, but I'm going to use it again. And Jay Lethal was actually, facing all these guys that, there was a whole tournament that was going on. The first ever ROH International Cup, and the winner of that was Mark Haskins. So I have to wonder, I don't know, and trust me, if I heard something, I'd tell you. I don't know if he's here, but I have to wonder if there's going to be sort of a UK factor. Now, living there, I mean, the thing is, I'm proud to be an American. I'm more American than I ever realized living over there. But now that I'm subjected to the amazing UK British wrestling scene, I wonder if there's going to be a touch of that involved in this Battle Royal. I hope so.
I don't know. There's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into All In tomorrow on the Fight Network for the low price. Well, okay, not the low price, but the price of how much, Val?
The worth it price. Well, if you just get the day, I believe it's $39.99. But the entire week, which you're going to want the entire weekend, Thursday to Sunday, it is $99 for the whole shebang. It's lifetime replays. We're going to live forever on your TV. So that's to me the best deal, is to get the $99 deal. But All In is what we're all here for ultimately, and I know that, for example, you mentioned they sold out in like 29 minutes or under, and everybody is excited for that particular show. It's not just all about Starrcast. It's about that particular pay-per-view. And the fact that it's on Fight TV, who I've worked for years now, is really, really special. And honestly, again, it's quite an honor to be here and sort of interview everybody and be one of the anchors of Starrcast Weekend. And I want to also say thank you to Conrad for having me, too, because he's done nothing but work his ass off. Have you met him yet, Conrad?
I have not.
He's tremendous, and he's so gung-ho about this week and so proud of the Bucks and Cody for what they've done. And he's done nothing but, help them out in terms of, financial help and in terms of, but in terms of just making sure that everything's going smoothly, because this whole weekend has been very professionally run, which is really important for a weekend of this magnitude. Because you saw how many people are here.
There's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. Yeah.
So
there's more coming, too.
Yep. So as far as the over-the-budget Battle Royal, I think I'm going to go with the fan favorite, and especially the story-wise, Flip Gordon. I think that they've definitely told a very interesting story when it came to him about how Cody...
But he's not booked.
What? I think people are definitely thinking that he's going to be involved. But
I know he's not booked because he invited me to the all-out party that's in the parking lot. And I've agreed to go to that. So I don't know if he's going to be a factor. But wouldn't that be cool? In a perfect world, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you just never know. I know that there's like the story going on about Cody not wanting him to be booked on the show, but...
He's been pretty adamant about it.
Well, you just never know. And definitely we'll be talking about Cody Rhodes when it comes to one of the big matches that are on here.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Briscoe brothers taking on, I believe it's SoCal, it's either Uncensored or Unleashed, if I'm not mistaken. And that is Mr. Frankie Kazarian as well as... I'm trying to remember what the other guy's name is.
Scorpio Sky and Christopher Daniels, yes. No. They were on my first shows ever in SoCal. So it's just, to me, it's a very nostalgic, nice match, yeah.
It's kind of weird when I hear the name SoCal and like immediately I'm thinking like SoCal Val, and then I see SoCal Nate, like, oh.
Yeah.
That.
It's like when Samoa Joe came out and he debuted at NXT, and I was there. SoCal was on the screen, and people just associate that with... If you're from SoCal, you don't associate that with me. But if you do, it's one of those things that... It's synonymous with my name, but at the same time, to be very honest, I'm not really even from SoCal, and I hate to like burst everyone's bubble, but I was raised in Texas. I lived in LA for about two or 3 years collectively. I'm really Orlando Val, but Central Florida Val doesn't sound as cool. But I do still have a lot of love for my SoCal guys. Again, Frankie and Daniels were on maybe my first and third shows ever. Scorpio Sky was always a mainstay on the indie shows with us. He's one of my good friends, and I love them so much. So I'm very supportive of them.
So with that being said, are you going with the SoCal for the win?
1,000%.
All right. Well, I'm going to be going with the Briscoe brothers. I think that they are.
I love them too.
They are. When I first heard their name, I'm thinking, are they like Jerry and like the old-fashioned Briscoe brothers? And then I find out these are completely different. And then I see them wrestle. I'm like, oh, way different.
Well, they're very different guys in general. They're very original. They don't seem like they're anybody else. They're just I love them.
They are absolutely insane. I think they're also on their 9th reign of tag team champions, I believe.
9th? Oh, I didn't know that.
I believe that they are.
It's sort of hard for me to decide here because actually the Briscoes were on some of my very first Florida shows, which actually I kind of did a lot more shows in Florida than I did SoCal, but I have to go with my SoCal bros. I just have to.
Fair enough. Up next, we have Christopher Daniels taking on the Arrows' Stephen Amell. Probably Stephen Amell's only second time in the ring next to
second time, but I've heard he's been training really hard, so that's a good thing.
Fair enough. So it's kind of want to be one of those nostalgic magic. A lot of people are thinking that's going to be a big clusterfuck, but I think it's going to be one of those matches.
Cluster what? Are we allowed to curse on here?
Yes, we're allowed to curse.
Business is picked up. Let's just start it. I can't do it. I'm trying to be a lady.
Okay. How about I'll just say cluster F. How
cluster
about that?
F.
Cluster
How
F.
can we say cluster fudge?
Cluster fudge.
Another hashtag?
That's one of those things I really love about having the nickname Effin' Greats is that, it could be the F-bomb, but it could be fudging. It could be frickin'. It could be anything that you could really...
AJ always said frick. Frick, Val.
But this is one of those matches I'm not quite exactly sure about because... when it comes to a celebrity, it's always going to be obvious that's them, but I think that Daniels is one of those guys who definitely will probably fight to keep a victory under his belt, but I think that he's matured enough to be like, this is not going to be one of those losses that is going to hurt him that much. And I don't think it is going to hurt him that much.
No, and I think you're right. I think we're because we've had so many celebrities in the ring over and over, like over the years, I think your reticence is totally validated in the sense that some of these people are the types that go, oh, it's a wrestling show. Okay, like, I don't know what wrestling is. I'll just show up. I have to say that I will defend Stephen Amell because I've seen all the training videos. I've heard from all the guys who wouldn't lie. I'm talking in the back, talks with them. They are so gung-ho for him to be here. And I think that shows how much he's worked, how he's worked hard to be here and have respect of the wrestling fans. He respects the business. So I think it's great to have him involved. There's a lot of comic book, TV, mainstream TV crossover for this. And it's actually a very good thing.
Definitely. And with that being said, I think I'm going to go with the soon-to-be undefeated Stephen Amell. Picks up the victory here at All In. Who have you got?
That's a hard for me. Can I go Stephen Amell as well? Is it okay? Yeah.
That's fine.
It's hard for me, but I think Stephen Amell, I think it'd be a cool victory. I think it kind of... It's a nice pop culture reference, right?
Definitely.
I want to tell you something really quick before the fans are listening now, and I have to say, this being our first live podcast, now I always put you over, it's a wrestling term, of course, for being
when?
so... Yeah, wait.
I was about to say when.
Sometimes I try to throw in a compliment.
You've used my middle name incorrectly, I might add, when we did a podcast.
Hey, Louise. No, but I have to say, I've always put you over in terms of professionalism and all that, but now that I'm seeing you do a podcast in person, and I've worked with a lot of people, Jim Ross, whatever... no offense to Jim Ross. Can I just throw that out there? Sorry. I'm not trying to compare in a bad way. But I want you people to know that when he's running down this match card, I didn't want to say it earlier and interrupt you, he's not looking at anything. He has this in his head that he knows every single match like the back of his hand, and it's really impressive. I don't remember matched cards that well. That's amazing. We're getting there's one person applauding us. Cheers to Kendall over there. No, but honestly, that's really cool. Well, I have to have notes when I do podcasts.
Well, there's going to be some matches I might need to look it up, but I think...
Hashtag Note Free Nate. Note Free Nate over here.
That would be a nice, interesting nickname.
Kudos.
We'll see what happens. But this is one of those... But bottom line when it comes to Christopher... But bottom line when it comes to the Stephen Amell, Christopher Daniels match, it all just boils down to the fact that wrestling is weird, but yet we love it.
Right. It is. That's a good quote. And I think that's why, in a weird way, people were joking earlier about, in one of the panels, about how they were sort of ostracized from their friends that kind of felt nerdy for liking wrestling. Well, that's what these conventions are about. There's a million of us, and we all love wrestling. We're not ashamed to talk about it, So, yeah.
Up next, we have Okada taking on Marty Scurll, and this is going to be one of those matches that is, again, really tough to choose because you have basically the breaker of bones, breaker of fingers, Marty Scurll, taking on the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Okada, who still looked very impressive in his match with Kenny Omega, and I'm very confident that he still looks just as impressive. But again, it's hard to just choose between the two of them. It's like...
And they're both such fan favorites. Like, even Marty at the ROH UK tour, like, his line for the meet and greet was absolutely out the door every single show. I'm going to go with Marty if I can go first and choose my favorite. I think Marty has just absolutely skyrocketed in terms of popularity and progression in the ring. I think he's a great villain, but sort of a lovable villain. And I think he proved himself last night doing karaoke with the fans. He's a great front man, if you will. So I have to go Marty all the way.
I'm going to go with Okada on this one. And I think it's only just because of the nostalgic Japanese fact. I think that everybody really doesn't think that Okada is going to lose probably his first match on U.S. soil.
Do you think people want to see him lose or no?
I don't know if it's one of those matches where you put two fan favorites together, and it's like no matter who wins, we all win. But at the same time, there's still going to be that part where it's like, glad that this person won, but at the same time, this person should have won, this should have won. Yeah. It's still going to create a lot of conversations no matter what.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to stick with Okada.
It's a controversial one because there's so many fans that love Okada, but Marty's just been on this path to success for about, I'd say, the last year or two.
Roughly, yeah. Well, a year plus, because I think he held the IWGP title for 2-3 years, I want to say.
He's really come into his own. I mean, I remember that we were talking, Mike Weber, my boss at Fight TV, free to download, by the way, we were talking about Marty from the TNA boot camp and how, he was great at that particular opportunity that he had, but they didn't really give him a chance to be himself, I don't think, and now that he's come into his own as the villain Marty Scurll, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So, next matchup that we have up will be Jay Lethal taking on the winner of the Over the Budget Battle Royal. I think we're both in agreement on Jay Lethal, right?
Of course. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. I'm going with Jay Lethal, of course.
Yeah, I think Black Machismo was going to pull out the victory. And
Loyal
like I said,
as the day is long.
like I said to him, hopefully we see Black Machismo retain the Ring of Honor Championship of the world.
Do you think you'll see Black Machismo on Saturday?
No. As much as I would really love...
I've been watching Being the Elite, and I know that sometimes he has a little mood he changes into. So I've heard.
That, again, it would be really interesting to see him coming out to that, Pomp and Circumstances remix that he does.
But it is an ROH match, so maybe not, but yeah.
Yeah, ROH doesn't usually do too many entertaining deals unless, I think it works with the stories. So.
True.
But
this is a serious match for the titles. So.
Yeah.
But I do love him as Black Machismo.
But, yeah, we'll find out tomorrow whether or not, he shows up to that. So up next, we have Golden Elites, the Young Bucks, and Kota Ibushi taking on Rey Mysterio, Phoenix, and Bandito in a 6-man tag team matchup. This was one of those matches that a lot of people think is probably going to close the show off. I think it's going to be one of the matches beforehand because I think I know what the main event's going to be, and rightfully so. But this 6-man tag just definitely screams absolute madness and just...
I'll let you go first. I have a very clear-cut choice in this.
Okay, fair enough. I am going to go with the team of Rey Mysterio, Phoenix, and Bandito, just because the fact that I understand, this whole entire show is based around the fact that, Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks, they started this, they created this, but I don't think that people need to be, jammed their heads at, hey, we created this, so therefore we should win this. But I think they're still going to have a really good, impressive showing. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. And plus, I love watching Rey Mysterio and love watching Phoenix. Oh my God, I forgot how amazing Phoenix was.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I'm going to get the chance to talk to him and see him tomorrow. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Is he doing a meet and greet?
I know him and Pentagon are doing a meet and greet tomorrow, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. My only concern is that Pentagon's probably going to break my arm, but we'll see.
I hope that doesn't happen to you. Can you do a podcast with one arm? You kind of can, I guess.
Yeah, but I would hope that he would just go, well, if he goes for my bad arm, then it's just going to hurt even more. But if he goes for my good arm, then I'm literally at the point where it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to drive tomorrow. So can I just get an Uber just all the way to Wisconsin? Please and thank you.
Private car situation for you?
Right. But, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Mysterio, Phoenix, and Bandito for that one. So, what is your detailed...
I'm so glad that you asked, or that you voted for my opposition, because I think it makes it a lot more interesting as the plot thickens. I think the Young Bucks, just seeing their global impact, their global takeover in terms of popularity, and just all that they've done, they're sort of they and Cody are the men of the hour in terms of this is all their creation. I'm not saying that they have to win, but I think just for a sort of grateful purpose, they should win. And I hope that they win, personally. And honestly, apart from the ring and apart from characters or whatever, they're really nice guys. They're creative guys. And I would love to see them win. I think it'd be a much bigger pop. I love Rey Mysterio as well, but yeah.
I was tempted to do a meet and greet with Rey Mysterio, but before I could make a final decision, they was sold out. So it was but like I said, I get to meet Phoenix and Pentagon tomorrow, so that makes up for it immensely. Awesome. All right, so next matchup we have on there. This is a matchup that I literally said my eyes literally melted at the joy of thinking about this matchup. It is Kenny Omega versus Pentagon. Pentagon Dark, Pentagon Cero Miedo. This just screams to me match of the year candidate as well as match of the night candidates.
I think that's going to be main event, or
no? I do think that this is going to be probably a good either middle or upper card matchup. Okay. But yeah, this is going to be one of those matches that I'm absolutely going to love. You got one of the hottest wrestlers today in Kenny Omega.
Oh my gosh.
Taking on
one
of the biggest names in Lucha Libre right now, that being Pentagon. Mm-hmm. Whatever name you know him by, I know him as, of course, Pentagon Dark from Lucha Underground, and he continues to just impress me every time he gets in the ring.
Yep.
The fact that he took on Cage in that last Luchador Machine standing match, that just was absolutely amazing. Great storytelling. And now to go from Cage to Kenny Omega, this is going to be one of those matches that I'm torn between, but it's kind of one of those things where I'm kind of impartial about just because I kind of want this to happen.
Yeah.
I want to see Pentagon Dark go over.
Really?
I really do. I know that
That surprises me.
Kenny Omega is great, and I think that he's got a lot of wins coming to him. I just think that right now, I think that you definitely do need to build up. I think this is going to be the win that Pentagon needs the most. I think that if Kenny wins, it's good. I'm okay with that.
Sure.
But it's just it's just one of those things where it's kind of biased. Where I think that Kenny Omega is great, but I think the Pentagon is just going to have one step ahead.
I'm so glad that you went with that, because I actually thought you were going to go for Kenny full stop. Absolutely. I have to tell you, and I hope I don't offend anyone by saying this, I think Kenny Omega is great. I met him in ROH, I think it was ROH, yeah, in Las Vegas with Fight TV. I was there for one of their pay-per-views at Sam's Town. And to be honest, I knew he was a wrestler, but I kind of maybe had heard his name before, didn't know much about him. He was just kind of a guy that I met in the locker room, was very nice. And I thought, well, who's this guy? I don't really know much about him. Saw a few of his matches. I thought, okay, wow, no wonder he's popular. Then when the Jericho situation happened, and Jericho versus Omega, I was just like, oh my god, this guy is on another level. He's absolutely supersonic in terms of likability and just sheer wow power. Just watching him is just so exciting. I have to go Kenny Omega here, and I think that a lot of the fans will want to see him win. I mean, I don't know if he will, but I have to pick him because I think he's so absolutely talented, and it helps that he's a nice guy as well. So yeah, I have to go Kenny Omega.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that I'm totally okay with. Now, this is one of those matches that I'm definitely not too sure about. It's a Chicago street fight that features Hangman
I'm worried
Page.
about this one because it sounds like it's going to be super, super violent, and it sounds like anything that's street fight related, I kind of worried because I feel like it might get really, really out of hand. Chicago street fights in the history of wrestling have been very, very violent. I feel like the fans are a little bloodthirsty. So, yeah, we'll see.
I'm trying to remember who the other guy was. I know it's Hangman Page.
Joey Janela.
Joey Janela.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look at me remembering the matches.
Well,
Totes profesh.
Well, there's a first time for everything. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. So Joey Janela taking on.
That was a huge silent pop for me.
I
deserved that, Nate, after all I put you through.
So, I unfortunately have seen a lot of the street fights. I've seen even unsanctioned match. I was there when they had the no holds barred fight between Tommaso Ciampa. It's the Chicago street fight between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Galliano. And still really good matchup. I think it definitely got very physical. But I think that if there's one matchup that could take it up a notch, it would be this matchup here.
I agree. Are you familiar with Joey Janela?
Not as much as I should.
Because I met him at a show in Canada. It's funny, I met him again in the UK, and I was like, oh, are you from Canada? He goes, no, I happened to do a show in Canada with him. I assumed he was Canadian. He's not. But he is one of those guys, and he's used social media, he's used different ways to actually really progress in wrestling. He's a really likable guy. He's kind of one of those cult following kind of dudes. I think he's great. Again, I'm not a huge fan of hardcore, as you know, hardcore stuff and blood and things like that. I hope it's going to be, if it's going to be a street fight, I'm fine with that. But I don't want it to be a street fight with violence for the sake of violence. And knowing that it's Joey Janela, but especially knowing that it's Adam Page, I don't expect that from them. I expect them to put on a really great storytelling match. Weirdly enough, I was talking with somebody at a Comic-Con recently about what my favorite match was, and people are always shocked to know that it's Triple H versus Cactus Jack at, I think it's Royal Rumble 2000.
Yep.
And it's weird because everyone's like, you hate blood, and you're like, I know, but because the storytelling, as you mentioned earlier, was so compelling, and they had Stephanie come out and give him a kiss. I just love their love. I'm such a sap. And I just loved that it was there was trash talking and there was a little bit of violence, but it was just, it meant so much. And I think with Paige and Janela, it's going to be a street fight that means something. I want to go with Adam Page. I just think he's such a up-and-coming rising star in the world of wrestling for many, many reasons. He deserves it. I would prefer him to win.
I think we're in agreement on that. I think Hangman Page is definitely going to win this one. And
did you meet him yet this weekend?
I have not gotten a chance to meet him.
Awesome.
I have a lot of people on my list, and Fortunately, I think that was one of those ones I think that definitely got sold out real fast.
Okay.
But, it happens. So
I will say really quickly that Adam Page was backstage in the green room, and we got some footage of him and Marty Scurll doing vocal warm-ups for their karaoke session. And if there's any reason to tune into Fight TV and view the karaoke replay, I was in the green room, and Adam Page was like, he's always barefoot. Apparently there's like a whole thing about that he explained to me. He was barefoot, and he was kind of like across the room, putting Sharpie on his feet, and I was like, someone was talking to me, and I looked at what he was doing. I go, hey bud, what are you doing over there? And he explained to me that he was going to do You've Got a Friend in Me, and he was writing Marty on the bottom of his foot, like the Toy Story characters have Andy written on their foot.
Oh.
So it was very cute. It's just things like that that make me think that he actually has an attention to detail, and he's fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's just hope that he doesn't step in tax tomorrow.
Oh my God, because he's barefoot all the damn time. I told him, I said, girl, guy, you got to get your tetanus. That's how I get when I get very sassy. You got to get a tetanus shot. He's like, oh, actually, I'm really enjoying being barefoot all the time. I was like, well, you better hope you don't step on something terrible. Just saying.
This is kind of a side conversation, but I remember Chelsea Green, that she and Zack Ryder are kind of a thing.
They're kind of a thing.
Yeah. And she posted a picture of him being like barefoot. He's got dirty feet, and one of the things that I said in the comment section, I just like, maybe he's just wearing one of those shoes that's like, so nice and evenly thread that it's just practically invisible.
There you go. They do invisible socks for men.
I believe that.
Yep, they do.
That is absolutely.
If you wear loafers or boat shoes, which many of the guys do nowadays, the invisible sock is kind of like a sock you wear that's like so low that you don't see it under boat shoes. Very fancy.
Oh, man. Speaking of footwear, no, that doesn't have anything to do with footwear.
No transition there?
There's no transition from footwear to what I think is going to be the main event, and rightfully so. The matchup for the NWA World Championship, that being Magnus Nick Aldis defending his title against Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
Or is it just Cody? I don't know. I'm still in my head saying Cody Rhodes, but I know a lot of people are just saying, it's Cody. I know him as Cody Rhodes.
I always say Cody Rhodes.
He's the son of Dusty Rhodes. It's one of those things where
why wouldn't you say Cody Rhodes? Yeah.
Because legal reasons, because WWE likes to be stupid sometimes.
Sometimes.
There's a lot of dumb decisions. And when I had a conversation with Teddy Long, I remember him basically saying, like, yeah, a lot of their stuff they're doing is not that good. I'm like, you know what, we definitely need more of you just popping out and just saying, let's make it a tag team match.
Now, does he have a podcast?
I think he does.
It's like he should have a podcast, yeah. He'd have a lot of cool stories to tell.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I might need to contact him soon and just maybe set up an interview with him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Always liked him, yeah.
So yeah, this matchup definitely has every right to be the main event, and it seems like one of those deals where it's really obvious, but one of those things that would make poetic sense. I am going for Cody. I think Cody wins.
I figured you would.
And for me, it's just one of those things where it makes poetic sense. Like I said, his dad just tried so hard to win.
Hashtag poetic sense?
Yes, hashtag poetic sense.
Hashtag poetic sense.
You have a lot of hashtags.
That is so deep and profound.
Because of the fact
you've like grown up before my very eyes. Like we were doing hashtag like, what were they called? Not the Bludgeon Brothers. The
hashtag bumbling bearded brothers.
Yeah, we've gone from hashtag that to hashtag poetic sense.
Poetic sense.
That's amazing.
But it does, because of the fact that his father, Dusty Rhodes, fought for the title so many times, and it would make so much sense to have Cody win the title off of Magnus. I just think that that's the best way to end the event. Just have a great matchup between the two of them, and don't let it be one of those things where one side's favored over the other. Have it be fairly even between the two of them, and in the end, I think that Cody should pick up the strap. That's just my personal opinion. That's my selection. Yep.
Hashtag the strap. No, honestly, I'm literally squirming in my seat only because I love Cody to death. I think he is the absolute. If you had a lab and you created the perfect wrestler, you have the history, the nostalgia, the looks, the gift of gab, the talking skills, the wrestling skills. My God. The social media skills, the fan, humble, sweet to fans, absolutely. He is the poster child for the perfect wrestler. It's like he's from a lab that made the perfect wrestler. That's all well and good, but I have to factor in, I'm sorry to use the UK card again, but Nick Aldis, to me, I've seen his entire journey firsthand when he first came to when he's on Gladiators in the UK, then he came to TNA, now living in the UK and understanding his impact there. Not impact in that pun, but I'll use it anyway. I'll take it.
Hashtag UK impact.
Exactly. I have to go with Nick Aldis. I feel like hopefully the fans that are listening have seen all he's done in terms of these videos that have been produced by the amazing David Lagana. These cinematic masterpieces. I just watched one yesterday, and then David Lagana and I were talking yesterday, and he goes, you saw that one, but wait to see the new one that I did. It's about 21 minutes long. I haven't seen it yet, because it's like, you're going to cry. I had to figure out a time. My friend Kendall's going, you're going to cry. It's one of those things that he's made this, not just a wrestling match, not a title defense, whatever. It's an entire movement, it's a feeling, it's an emotional battle. And that's what got me into wrestling in the first place, is the balance between good and evil and who's better, who's the man. And I love Cody. I'm so grateful to him for this entire weekend. I think he's amazing. But me personally, I would love to see Nick Aldis win this one, personally, if I'm being honest.
And honestly, when it comes to Nick, I love watching him work. He was one of, I think, the first few wrestlers next to William Regal who really got me exposed to the type of wrestling that the UK can provide. And I loved Magnus. He was one of those guys that I remember watching and thinking, he's going to do something good, he's going to be great. They had that push for him and he became champion. It's like, awesome, you get to see him be champion. And then it's just like, they wasted him and made him do really stupid stuff. And they had basically everybody interfere. It's like, really? This guy can do it by himself. He doesn't need 20 people interfering just to help him out. But he's a Dixie Carter guy. I don't care. Magnus is talented. And then you have him lose to Eric
But
Young.
that entire, Dixie Carter guy stigma, that's nobody's fault, but the fans just bringing that up. That shouldn't be a factor. It is to certain fans, but at the same time, he's proven himself now, and
But I think that's the card for All In. So, gosh, we still have maybe about 10 minutes to talk about.
I just keep it. There's all these flashes going on. It's because we're in a star-studded environment, but I just keep seeing flashes. Maybe they know that we're in town, Nate. So we're just the paparazzi. Oh my God, we just want to live our lives, right?
If I'm going to be honest, I think that they would be more flashing towards you because they know.
No.
They know the kind of impact that you have in wrestling, and plus, you work for Fight Network. It's like,
I do.
Oh my gosh, that's SoCal Val from Impact. She's a knockout. Of course she is. Why do you think I'm always honored to have her on the show?
Well, thank you so much. Honestly, every show's great. I love that we can actually talk about some pop culture references as well. But tell me what's coming up for you. I mean, you're going to be watching All In.
Yep.
At the Hurricane Helms party?
I'll be doing it at the viewing party with Hurricane Helms, Shane Helms. I don't know. For some reason, it feels like they're the same person. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where
that's still up for debate, isn't it?
If I ever see him...
I know they know each other.
Right. That's going to be one of those questions I really need to ask him. So there's this rumor going around that you and Hurricane, you and Shane Helms...
But have you ever seen them in the same room at the same time? Because I sure haven't. And that to me...
I'm just wondering if maybe he's just using the restroom or something like that. Maybe Shane Helms is using the restroom while Hurricane just pops up out of nowhere. We don't know this.
Oh my God. I have to say, in England, everyone so we were at the London Film and Comic Con. It's actually a really cool group of us. It was the Nasty Boys, Tatanka, Carly Leilani from Lucha Underground was there, Gail Kim, and Billy Gunn, of course. Hilarious as always, and ginormous as always. And the Hurricane, Shane Helms, and people in Britain, it was just London Film and Comic Con, they kept coming up and saying oh, Hurricane, not Hurricane. Oh, you're the Hurricane. And I was like, I'm sorry, this is really funny. So he was like, this is hilarious. So it's just a little difference of accents, but the Hurricane.
I thought it was Hurricane. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hashtag
he
Hurricane.
He has a Hurricane, a little baby, yeah. So at All In, is there one particular match you're more looking forward to than others?
I think I said before, I'll say it again. I think Pentagon versus Kenny Omega is the one that just stands out to me, and it just says wrestling masterpiece at its finest, because you have the best in Lucha Libre, arguably, against the best in New Japan, arguably. And having these two go against each other, one guy is trying to break arms, one guy is just saying, like, yeah, I'm just going to basically do everything I can to basically destroy you. Because that's how Kenny Omega works.
Well, and I think that you're like me. You really appreciate a lot of storyline lead into a match. Not that a match is happening, but why the match is happening, number one. I look forward to the Battle Royal. To be honest, I just love the Battle Royal. I think it's fun. And the fact that Jay Lethal's on the end of that in terms of who will be facing, that's very exciting for me. We also didn't mention, though, that in terms of women's wrestling, I mentioned Medusa Unthrottled. There is a women's match. It's a 4-way. And I have to say, I'm not sure where in the card they will be, but I feel like it's going to be one of those matches that these girls are going to do absolutely everything they can in their power to make sure that they are in the forefront of this pay-per-view. And it is hard to choose a favorite. Do you have a favorite in that match? Because it's hard for me to choose. And we love all of them.
Right.
So.
I think a lot of people are going for Tessa Blanchard, which I think I'll do that as a safe pick. Personally, I would love to see Chelsea Green pick up the victory.
Oh, yeah.
That she is absolutely wonderful in the ring, and she just... I mean, anytime a woman can do a curb stomp as well as she can, it's just absolutely insane. And then she goes into an unprettier, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, so she's pulling off a Seth Rollins and a Christian deal. I'm totally okay with this.
You're on board for that.
I'm totally okay with this. You got a Canadian and a guy from Dayton, Ohio. So
yeah. It's difficult for me. I actually, to be honest, I haven't seen too much of Britt Baker. I think she's great from what I've seen, like maybe 2 matches ever. I have to go with Chelsea. I mean, she's a friend of mine, but that's not why I'm going with her. I think she's the strongest competitor. Tessa Blanchard, not a huge fan. Chelsea Green, I will say, has paid her dues in so many different companies. She was trained by Lance Storm, one of my favorite people. She's, obviously from a very prestigious academy of Lance Storm. I hope she takes this one. Not only is she a great competitor, not only is she a great wrestler, she can take all the serious wrestling, grappling accolades, which she so deserves. But she's so much fun. I mean, the way that she interacts with fans on Twitter, she's such a likable girl. I hope that she would make a great... she's my favorite. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're just about running out of time. Like you said, we got...
It goes by like that.
I know. It's crazy.
How about I just move this way and we'll do it every week?
Oh, sure. Why not?
I'll pack my bags.
Just move all the way this way.
You guys got a spare room or what?
Right. Yeah, like we said, All In this weekend. A couple other things are going to be going on throughout the year. But yeah, the big event is All In tomorrow. So other than All In, Starrcast going on this weekend, what else do you have going on in the world of California?
You're so sweet to always ask that. I so appreciate that. It's a nice, cheap little plug. Thank you for that.
Of course.
When I get home, and I say home, it's England, which is really weird to say home is England, but I've been there like 2.5 years now. I got accepted, I guess. I have like maybe 2 days off of work. I get right into my next weekend, which is the Wrestling Media Con, which if you're not familiar, a lot of the U.S. fans are obviously watching this or listening to this podcast. Wrestling Media Con is actually very Impact Wrestling and WS Wrestling centric. We are hosting the Media Hall of Fame on the 8th of September. And on the 9th of September, we're actually hosting a WS panel. Me and Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's my favorite people in wrestling. He's just debuted on Impact recently. He's amazing. Wrestling MediaCon, then I'm off to Preston MediaCon in England. October's going to be a bit crazy as well. I know I'm doing some promotions for the Canelo Alvarez fight on Fight TV. So it's going to be a busy little September for me. And then I'm gearing up for the Jericho Cruise, which you have to get on that Jericho Cruise.
Well, I think...
I need a first mate.
Oh, jeez. I'm so thankful you said first mate. I'm so thankful you said first mate instead of cabin boy, because then I would be like,
no, first mate. Because if I'm the cruise director, as Jericho told me I was, I'm going to need a first mate. So it is out of Miami. It's the October 27th to the 31st. It's going to be an amazing cruise. I mean, there's so many people on the cruise. It's JerichoCruise.com if you're not familiar. That is something I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to Orlando, my hometown, before and after that. But that cruise is just, oh my gosh. That's like the coolest gig I've ever done in my life. So thank you to Jericho for having me on that.
Oh, sweet. Well, definitely I will look into it, and we'll see what I can
get some floaties.
Right there. Oh, God. I knew there
was
and a
swimming costume. If anyone wins it All In, it's my favorites, and you lose, you're coming on the Jericho Cruise in a very sexy 2-piece, floaties and bows in your hair, maybe a nice little swim cap. New stipulation.
You just
do it.
You just love giving me the most grief about everything. There's a reason why.
Nate on the high seas. I mean, come on. We can do a podcast from the boat. Let's do it.
Like I said, we'll see what we can do. Hopefully, it'll work out, but we'll see how everything goes on in Wisconsin. Unfortunately, not everything does work out the way we want it to. But, like I said, we'll continue to do this every time we get a chance. We will always try to meet up whenever you come to the Midwest.
Of course.
Do a podcast. And like I said, even if I have to travel, 5 hours just to get here, it's totally.
Thank you, Nate.
That's the risk you take when you decide, I'm not going to pay tolls. So.
Right.
Because I would much rather just take the free route and just risk the extra hours than just pay like $5 just to get somewhere because it's faster. Great.
Honestly, the fact that you're here for Starrcast, it's going to be such a great week. You're here to see a lot of the most amazing people in wrestling. All In is going to be tremendous. The fact that you're doing a viewing party with Hurricane is going to be amazing. Hurricane for my UK friends. You're going to be a part of history, really. And I think that we know this pay-per-view is going to be historic. But with some of the surprises that I don't know. I'm assuming they have planned. It's going to be just absolutely astronomical in the sense of all the wrestling sites that it reaches. And thank you to Cody and the Young Bucks and Conrad for doing the unthinkable, which is having this huge weekend of wrestling. I'm so glad you're here to be a part of it. It's been awesome.
It is one of those things that I'm definitely glad that I got the chance to be a part of and get to experience it more tomorrow. And like I said, so far, every person that I've met has been great. Got the chance to meet so many great people, so many great fans. It's just been absolutely wonderful to do. So before we make our final sign-off, I do have a request for you. I have a friend on a different podcast. His name is Dusty Dave. He would love it.
Dusty Dave.
He would love it if you could do like a personalized shout-out for him. So can you just say some kind words to him?
Of course. Hey, Dusty Dave, it's the Princess of Pro Wrestling, SoCal Val. We are having an amazing time at Starrcast. We wish you were here. We're sending love and kisses from California.
Now, Dave, just remember, don't say I don't do nothing for you. Just remember that. So
be nice to Nate, for God's sake. Please.
No, he's probably one of those guys who's like Corey Graves when it comes to Bobby Roode. It's like, I didn't just jump on the bandwagon. I invented the bandwagon. Saxton, you moron.
Oh, gosh.
No, it was Watson. Okay. Percy Watson. So
cheers,
hashtag sorry, Percy. But for SoCal
Another
Val,
hashtag.
For SoCal Val, I've been Nate the Effing Great here for the Game Changer live at the Starrcast event. All In is this weekend. It's going to be an absolutely amazing deal. Thank you, Val, for your time and for being a part of this. This has been absolutely
fun.
You.
It's honestly, it's so fun to do your podcast, but to do it in person is a whole other. You could say it's a game changer. If I can use another word of yours.
By all means. It's a whole other ball game. So
we need a selfie.
Oh, definitely. So, guys, we're going to go take some selfies, take some pictures, and honestly, I think we need a different, battle pose deal.
Yes, of course.
Because
very 80s.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the Game Changer, I've been Nate the Effing Great, joined here by the lovely SoCal Val. Enjoy All In and definitely check it out. Bye-bye.
Bye.